Welcome to La Palma.
It's looking like it's going to be an absolutely beautiful day today, and we're both really quite excited.
First things first, this morning we got up a little bit later because we had a late-ish night in Manhattan, enjoying a few drinks and chatting to some of our fellow passengers. But once we got up this morning, we headed straight to the buffet because we'd missed the main dining room breakfast.
We hadn't actually been to the buffet for breakfast or lunch or even evening meal, only the late night buffet. So it was a little bit of an experience for us. It was very, very busy in there. The buffet isn't the largest we've ever encountered on a cruise ship before. Plenty of selection, however that selection seems to be focused on one small area of the buffet. They've got another sort of dining area within the buffet where they could lay out some foods, but unfortunately it looked like that was closed. So it sort of forced everybody into this small area to pick up their breakfast goodies.
So for breakfast we had a little bit of a full English I had really that I made on myself, but could not find any hash browns in here. I've been having those in the main dining room, but nothing in the buffet unfortunately today.
And I opted just to go for eggs on toast because I think I've eaten quite enough already. It didn't take us too long to find a seat, and we managed to actually get quite a good one right up against the window.
And La Palma itself is spectacular. Quite big mountains and cliffs that are right next to the ship here in the port. So it is a fantastic place to sit and look at the view.
After enjoying our breakfast, we then wanted to have a little walk, and we went to the pizzeria to pick up a couple of premium coffees just to get our additional coffee fix, and had a little walk out on deck just admiring the absolutely spectacular views of La Palma.
So once again, Costa Coffee is available both in the atrium at Harbour, Java, or in pizzeria up on deck.
We then made our way to cabin just to pick up a few bits so that we could head off to explore. Neither of us had been to this part of the world, so we were both really looking forward to it.
And La Palma is a really, really nice port. It's probably one of the nicer ones out of the islands, aren't they? Because it just seems a little bit more traditional.
Before heading off the ship, we made our way to Java or Java and just picked up some water to take with us because it was looking like it was going to be a pretty hot day. We disembarked into the port of La Palma. It was around about 15-20 minutes. It's quite well designed and structured. There are guidelines that you just literally follow into the main city centre and out of the port. The port has got a terminal building, and within the terminal building you'll find toilets as well as a cafe and duty-free shop. We made our way out to the port building, just continued to follow those lines, and we got into Santa Cruz de la Palma.
So to get to the city centre, you follow the blue line from the port all the way into the city centre itself. However, this time we chose to kind of take a little right turn. We walked along the seafront instead, first of all, which is actually a beautiful walk. On the left side of you, you get to see some of the traditional houses of La Palma, which have these lovely wooden balconies. And to the right, you get to see the black sand beaches.
So as we continued to walk, there was lots going on because it's carnival season here in La Palma, and there was lots of activities and commotions occurring, setting things up because it's a week-long festival. Unfortunately, today there's nothing happening, but we continued to walk in and we come across some absolutely beautiful wooden balconies.
Yeah.
Really quite historic and traditional. There was information posted just outside of the port explaining how these were constructed, how much they're part of La Palma's history and tradition, but they were absolutely spectacular.
La Palma was one of the only islands that had permission to trade with the Americas apparently, so which is why it seems to feel to us a little bit more of a Caribbean feel than perhaps some of the other islands. We continued then walking along the beach until we reached the area where the fort is located. There we stopped and had a look at the fort because it was made out of that volcanic rock that La Palma is famous for, just the same colour as the sand on the beach next to it.
We crossed the road and had a little walk on the beach and admired that black sand. And there wasn't many people on the beach for some reason because the sun was out. It was a beautiful day.
Yeah, I just think because it's black sand it puts people off. And along the beach then there were lots of rocks volcanic rocks just dotted along the beach as well, which is quite nice to see. This part of the beach is also accessible if you've got disabilities, because there was a nice brand new wooden walkway leading to a covered area that looked like it had just been built. We then continued to walk along the beach until we found what looked like a pirate ship in the middle of the street. So we went to investigate that.
Very peculiar sight, because it was this full-size ship that
Like
we
a galleon.
that we just assumed was a pirate ship. On closer inspection, it's actually a museum.
Naval Museum of La Palma. We didn't go in it though because we wanted to continue. We found out that the ship was located at the top of the main street in La Palma, and we wanted to go down that street and investigate what was down there.
So we walked through the main street of La Palma, and it was absolutely beautiful. One of the most beautiful sort of town centres in the Canaries that I've ever seen. Pretty much we've been to most, well, La Gomera left.
Yeah.
So we've done a fair few of the Canary Islands. I've just never seen anything as spectacular as the town. It was very traditional, and as Tom said earlier, you could definitely feel that Caribbean, Cuban influence. Really, really something.
Yeah. And once again, the main street was set up for the carnival, so they had different banners across the street, they had flags, they had bunting. You could really tell that carnival has or is going to be taking place in the next few days.
We came across a small little market just by chance. We didn't know it was there. We just saw the entrance and thought, oh, let's go and have a look. Lots of different stalls, fresh flowers, fruit.
As we do on our travels, we normally find one of two things, either a market or a church, and we end up going in both of them. In this one though, there was something that we'd never tried before, and it was a local drink that they prepared using sugar cane and fruit. So we thought we'd gotta try one. How it was made, the lady on the counter pressed this sugar cane through like a press and
with different
fruit inside, wedged between the sugar cane. It flattened the sugar cane until the juices came running out. She then poured those juices into a cup and added some extra orange juice.
Yeah, and it was absolutely beautiful. 100%
Really?
natural, sugar cane and a bit of fruit. We've never seen anything like it before.
No, it cost us €2.50, and we think that was well worth it.
It was really, really refreshing.
So top tip, if you get into La Palma, head to that market and try one of these drinks and let us know if you enjoyed it as much as we did.
We chose to have it with orange, but you could also have it with a variety of different fruits.
After the market, we headed back into that main street and continued downhill, because the main street is on a slight incline, and then we found the town hall area.
Not a very big open square space, but there was a few cafes, bars and a few shops there as well.
They wouldn't let us into the town hall itself, but if you do get a chance, just pop your head in and have a look, because the wooden architecture in there and the paintings inside are quite spectacular.
We continued to walk along the main street of La Palma and ended back where we pretty much started.
Yeah.
La Palma, really beautiful, really traditional. I wouldn't say there was loads to do, or it's a big area and you'd struggle to sort of cover it all. We were probably off the ship for about 2.5 hours at a leisurely pace, just exploring.
It's a nice port if you haven't booked an excursion, just to get off the ship, for have a little walk around.
Back on the ship then, again, there wasn't any queues. It was really, really easy to get back on board, wasn't it? Really well done, P&O. And we were both a little bit peckish. The sun was shining, so we thought we'd spend a couple of hours now sunning ourselves up on the top deck.
So in the afternoon, they do live music, they do a quiz, so we got to enjoy that in the afternoon, as well as getting ourselves some pizza to eat from the pizzeria.
We were fortunate when we got back on to Azura, the majority of passengers were still off the ship. We managed to get 2 sunbeds up by Breakers Bar, which we were really pleased with, because it meant we could sort of take part in all of the activities that are hosted around the pool.
That's exactly what we did. Like we said, we fetched some pizza from the pizzeria, ate that on our sunbed, listened to some live music from Pulse, who were really good. The guy who sings with Pulse, I forget his name, but he was fantastic. And then we took part in the music quiz.
By now, the pool deck was very busy. There wasn't any seats, any sunbeds available. It was standing room only, really.
After everyone's back on board, it does get busy, and that always seems to be the place people look for the sunbeds first. There are other areas of the ship where sunbeds are available, but if you want to be in the hub area around the main main pool, coral pool and breakers bar, then it is very busy.
So we enjoyed our day in La Palma and our few hours sunning ourselves up on the top deck, and the pizza was absolutely fantastic as well. We then made our way back to the cabin, have a little rest, get ready for this evening.
Once we'd got ourselves ready, we headed down to the main restaurant again to have our dinner.
As usual, we joined the virtual queue and it took around about 35 minutes for our table to be ready. The main dining room was very, very busy. The virtual queue has made our dining experience on board Azura flawless.
We've never waited long at all.
Absolutely fantastic. If only we'd known about it on our first couple of nights on Avia. So we had a little explore and we noticed a few of the shops down on deck 5 where you can purchase Azura merchandise as well as sweets and chocolates and all sorts of toiletries, which is quite handy and quite useful to know.
We then headed to the glass house. We picked up a glass of wine each because we wanted to try another one of the wines the glass house had to offer. And then we took that wine with us to the restaurant, by which time our table was ready.
When we got down to the Meridian main dining room, we were seated on a table for 4 for some reason.
Not sure why, but it was fine. We had a little bit of extra space. So for my starter tonight, I had the tomato soup and it was very tasty, really, really nice. I love the soups on board P&O, and I found this tomato soup was particularly good, so I really enjoyed that.
I opted to go for the beef pastrami with dill pickles and a bit of horseradish coleslaw, and it was absolutely delicious. Really, really enjoyed it. It wasn't too much, it wasn't too heavy either. It was beautiful and I definitely have it again.
For our main course, we both went for exactly the same thing. We had the beef and it came with a lovely fluffy Yorkshire pudding, and that Yorkshire pudding was superb.
They'd asked us how we wanted our beef to be cooked. We both chose medium and it came out perfect. I really, really enjoyed our main.
Loved it.
The plate was cleared.
And then for dessert, we both had cheese. I had cheesecake, you had cheese plate.
There wasn't much on the menu in terms of dessert that really sort of took my fancy, so I opted just to have the cheese plate.
I had the cheesecake. It was okay. To me, it tasted like it had been frozen and then defrosted, and you could tell that. It was okay.
We also had an extra glass of wine while we were in the restaurant. We did ask for Jamshed Shiraz that we got from the glass house, but they didn't have it in the dining room menu, so we ended up having a glass of Merlot, which was very nice.
At the end of our meal, they offered us teas and coffees that they do at the end of every meal, which we declined because we weren't ready for a tea or coffee yet, but they still gave us little shortbread biscuits to eat, which you would normally get with your tea and coffee at the end of the meal.
And those tea and coffees are included in your cruise fare, so there's no additional charge.
After dinner then, we headed straight to the theatre.
It was the headliners production team tonight, so we knew it was gonna be busy.
And the show tonight was centre stage, and let me tell you, it was one of the best shows we have seen on board. It was a show that was based around new musicals, and you could tell the entertainment team, the headliners, thoroughly enjoyed performing it. I think it was night and day compared to the show they did the other day. It was probably one of our favourite shows we've ever seen on board.
It was magnificent. They really are a talented bunch of people. You could tell just by the look on their faces how much they were enjoying the performance. It was energetic.
They had musicals such as Matilda, Tina, Moulin Rouge,
9 to 5.
and Frozen. Some really modern musicals, which you tend to see in these review shows they do of musicals on cruise ships. Much of the older musicals, but this was a lot of the new modern musicals, and we thoroughly enjoyed it.
And that Frozen number was spectacular.
I think it was all spectacular. I love the Moulin Rouge number. We love the Matilda section. If you are familiar with some of these musicals, they do perform them to such a high standard. It is really good. One thing that is to note is that their headliners do greet you as you leave the theatre as well, and that does add a little personal touch. Some cruise lines do it, some cruise lines don't, and for us, it's better when they are there. We appreciate being able to say thank you to them.
After thoroughly enjoying the show in the main theatre, we quickly hurried to Malabar because it was game show time.
So tonight's game show was based on the game show Pointless, but not named Pointless.
No. Copyright.
Now, the setting of Malabar is really nice, a little bit random. Like we've said before, it reminds us of an MSC bar. But how the show was produced in there, I think, was a bit low tech.
Yes, it was done with a projector.
The screen wasn't particularly clear.
No. They'd asked for 4 couples to come up on stage and basically play a game of Pointless. You have to answer a question and you've got to ensure that you've got the lowest number of responses out of 100.
Yeah, lowest points wins the round. So we watched it. It worked exactly the same as the game show Pointless you watch on TV. It was okay. We've seen game shows done better, and you can see on their newer ships they've invested a lot of money in some of those game shows, which then you think when you see a game show on Azura that they seem to be a bit forgotten about. I think P&O could and do have the capability of putting on a really high-tech, really interactive game show. Hopefully they'll bring something like that onto Azura and onto their older ships.
We then made our way to Manhattan because it was Jack Ryan's second performance. So Jack Ryan is the comedian on board. He'd done a comedy show routine a couple of nights earlier, and it was his second show.
We really enjoyed Jack Ryan. However, there isn't much footage of him performing because he called Dom out for holding up his camera and he was too scared to put it back up again. So. But his performance was really good. I actually thought it was better than the first show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we really enjoyed it, but sorry that we can't show you much of it.
No, the things I do for YouTube. Get picked on by comedians.
After that, we stayed in Manhattan for the rest of the night.
We were joined by Sisters of the Sea once again, and we just sat there, had a few drinks and talked about our day and our experiences with more than a few cocktails.
I've been drinking the passion fruit martinis. Now, these are not as good as they were on Arvia because they are pre-mixed on board, and every bar I've tried one in, they have been pre-mixed.
In terms of our drinks package, I think we're definitely taking full advantage.
Absolutely. I think every day we have definitely spent above and beyond the cost of that drinks package.
And it's not just alcohols, it's those bottles of water, it's those coffees that we have, it's the soft drinks during the day.
Yeah, so during the day I've been drinking passion fruit punches and Coke or bottles of water. They're all soft drinks, but they soon add up.
I've been having the odd beer.
You have been having a few beers.
And Aspel cider, because that's quite nice.
You've been quite liking that Aspel cider.
Perfect when you're sunning yourself on the pool deck, I think.
So for us, the drinks package has definitely been worth it.
It was now time for midnight buffet because I can't go to bed without having something to eat, apparently.
No. Headed up to the midnight buffet once again, and again, pretty good selection. I had a hot chocolate. Now I've got a little routine, so hot chocolate before bed works really nice for me. And then you picked up a few selection.
Share with the group what you picked up then, instead of just laying it all on me.
What did I pick up?
Chips, beef and black bean sauce.
Oh yes, yeah. Okay, so
I got the video evidence.
Yeah, I did pick up some chips, a very small portion of beef and black bean sauce, and I did also have a couple of digestive biscuits as well.
I had a real mashup of different things. It's really unusual that they've always got sausages available, but those sausages are bratwurst, German sausages, for some reason. It's really strange.
Yeah, but you like bratwurst.
I do like bratwurst, but on P&O, a British cruise line, that always available is a German sausage. I also had a few crackers and bits and bobs as well.
Yeah, more than a few.
I'm on holiday.
Anyway, that was it. We headed back to the room straight to sleep because we knew we had to be up early because tomorrow we are in Fuerteventura.
And I've never been here. You've been here before.
I've been before. So you're never to the main port area though, only to the holiday resorts like Coaleco and places like that. So we're going to have a little bit of explore again tomorrow and we'll let you know how it goes.
That was our day in La Palma. If you've got any comments or questions, just pop them in the box below and we'll get back to you.
And please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks
for
watching.
watching.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. We've got lots more content available on our YouTube channel, so press that subscribe button. If you're interested in receiving daily updates, we're available on most social media platforms. Just search for Tom and Dom Travel.